Namaskara. Today we are going to discussion about the Article 18 of the Indian Constitution. Article 18 of the Indian Constitution, which speaks about the abolition of the titles. Abolition of the titles. Without knowing the titles, meaning of the titles, how can we abolish the titles? Then let us understand what is the meaning of the titles. What titles? What are the privileges or what it implied the meaning of the titles? We can understand one by one. Meaning of the title is nothing but it refers to the honorific or designation that implies nobility or hereditary privileges. They are called titles. Titles means the honorific or designation implies the nobility or hereditary privileges. These are include the meaning of the titles. Titles are nothing but they seems like special privileges for that particular person who has get the titles. For example, Nawaba. This is an hereditary title. The son of the Nawaba will become the Nawaba because of what? Hereditary. In democracy, there is no hereditary posts are available because we are in democratic condition or in democratic political condition. Hence, there is no more Nawabas or no more Maharaja di Raja. Hence, we should abolish the titles, these like titles from hereditary, coming from the hereditary. Because we create a society that are in equality nature. If you continue these hereditary titles, then we create a discrimination among the citizen of the India on the basis of the royalty or nobility. Because of that, the makers of the constitution thinks that they want to abolish the titles from the hereditary, coming from the hereditary or from the royal condition. Because of what? Create the equal society among the Indian citizens. Hence, they add Article 18 to the Indian Constitution that abolition of the titles. When we abolish the titles, no more Rajas are available, no more Rajas are available, no more Nawabs are available in this society. Because of what? There is Constitution guaranteed that there no more discrimination on the basis of the family condition. Hence, Article 18 were included in the Constitution. That is abolished the titles of the hereditary in nature or discrimination on the basis of the royalty of that families. Article 18 is contained that the provision from Article 18 subclass 1 to Article 18 subclass 4. We discuss one by one. Article 18 subclass 1 of the wording, Article 18 subclass 1 of the Constitution, the wordings like this. That is, no titles not being military or academic in nature shall be conferred by the state. This means that state can confer the titles apart from state can confer the awards or titles on the basis of the military or academic distinction. The Article 18 subclass 1 not barred or prohibited the states from giving the titles on the basis of the military or academic services or distinction. Article 18 subclass 1 only prohibited that the general titles like Nawabas, Sir, this type of titles are not given by the state, but academic and military basis awards or titles were given by the states. The Article 18 subclass 1 cannot be restrict the state from the giving titles like Veera Chakra, Mahavira Chakra. These titles are belongs to the military distinction. Then doctorate. These type of titles were given by the state to the citizen for their excellency work in education or academic in nature. Then Veera Chakra, Mahavira Chakra were given to the citizen of India because their excellency work in army. Hence, Article 18 subclass 1 is not barred the state from conferring the titles belongs to military or in academic distinction. But Article 18 subclass 1 restrict the state from giving to the titles from other nature. Other nature means from hereditary in nature. Hence discrimination is taken place because the hereditary nature of the titles were create a difference between the common citizen and the hereditary person who has received the titles from in hereditary nature. Those people are making distinguish each other because the hereditary nature titles were seems they were noble in nature, or they are superiority in the society. Hence the article 18 sub plus 1 discriminate that type of or those type of awards or titles. But article 18 sub plus 1 not barred the state to conferring the titles like Veera Chakra, Mahavira Chakra, doctorate, because their excellency work of the citizens they are given to the citizens because of what their excellency service to the nation. Then we are moving to the article 18 subclass 2. Article 18 subclass 2 states that no citizen of the India shall accept the titles from the any foreign state. It means that Indian citizens cannot receive any titles from the any foreign state. Article 18 subclass 1 restrict the state that state cannot confer the any awards to the citizen. Then article 18 subclass 2 restrict the citizen of India cannot receive any awards or any titles from the any foreign state. This is the article 18 subclass 2 that implied that the no citizen of the India, that means the citizen of the India cannot receive any awards or titles from the any foreign countries or states. This is article 18 subclass 2. Then article 18 subclass 3, what it says? Article 18 subclass 3 states that no person who is not a citizen of India shall while holding office of profit or trust under the government of India accept without consent of the president any title from the any foreign state. This means that the person from the foreign who is citizen of the other nation, he is working under the government of India. That means office of profit or the trust working under the government of India. In this places the person working he is belongs to the foreign state, but he cannot receive any awards or titles from the any other states without consent of the president. This means that with consent of the president he can receive any title from the foreign state. Because of what India cannot confer the any awards or titles to the there is no awards, there isn't titles. Indian government cannot confer any titles to the any citizen. Hence the foreign citizen working under the Indian government, he can receive the titles from the any foreign state with consent of the president of India. Without consent of the president of India, he cannot receive any awards or titles from the any other states. Any other states means any other foreign countries. This is article 18 subclass 3. Article 18 subclass 4, what it says we look after. Article 18 subclass 4 speaks about the no person holding office of profit or trust under the government of India accept any present emolument or office without consent of the president from the foreign state. This means that the working under the government of India or the trust that trust is working under the government of India. The person who is working in that office of the profit or trust, he cannot receive any presentation or presents. This means gifts. He cannot receive gifts from any person. Emoluments. This means Gauravadana. Emoluments and any other office. Hold any other office from the foreign state without consent of the president of the India. This means that with the president of the India, he can receive the gifts. That means present. And emoluments. That means Gauravadana. And the office. That means he can receive any post from the foreign countries with the consent of the president of the India. Without consent of the president of India, he cannot receive any other things without consent of the president. Why this is the provision was added with the consent of the president? Because of what? The person who is working under the Indian government or the trust, his government was ensure government was want to ensure that the person from the foreign citizen working under the Indian government, that government want to ensure that his service towards the Indian government or integrity towards the Indian government and loyalty towards the Indian government. If once he get from gifts from the any other foreign countries, then he is under the government which he is received that presentation. It means that he is working in favor of the who give the presentation to the that employee. Hence, the Article 18 ensures that the government empowers the government to ensure that the person is working under the Indian government. He should be loyal to the towards Indian government and ensure that his integrity towards the Indian government, not other. Hence, the president consultation is must. However, he is the citizen of the foreign countries. Because of what he is working under the Indian government, hence the law will be applicable on him from the Indian government only. In conclude that Article 18 subclass 1 declares that any titles state cannot be given to the citizen. State cannot confer any titles to the citizen. Article 18 subclass 2 declares that the Indian citizen cannot receive any titles from any other foreign countries. Article 18 subclass 3 restricted the foreign citizen who is working under the Indian government or Indian trust that without consent of the president he cannot receive any title from the foreign state. And Article 18 subclass 4 is extension of the Article 18 subclass 3, which says that any person working under the Indian government or Indian trust, he cannot receive the present. This means gift, emoluments, this means Gauravadana, and office. This means the post in that country he cannot receive without the consent of the president. With consent he can receive the titles, presentation, emoluments, any other privileges with consent of the president. Without consent of the president he cannot receive anything from any foreign countries. Article 18 subclass 3 and Article 18 subclass 4 restrict the foreign citizens that he cannot receive any other things or titles or presentation without consent of the Indian president. One problem arises when the Indian government confers the Bharat Ratna and Padma awards to the Indian citizen. Bharat Ratna and Padma awards to the citizen of India for their excellency work, whether it is coming under the provision of the title. This is the main question arisen out in the year 1996. The case was before the Supreme Court, that is Balaji Raghuvaran versus Union of India. In this case, Supreme Court declares that the Padma and Bharat Ratna awards were not qualified in the title, meaning of the title stated in Article 18 subclass 1. These are the academic in nature, hence government can confer these titles to the citizen of India for their excellency work. They cannot comes under the meaning of the Article 18 subclass 1, that is titles. Hence state can confer these titles to any citizen of the India or any other foreign citizens for their excellency works towards the India. As well as Supreme Court directs those who are get the Bharat Ratna and Padma Vibhushan cannot use that titles before their names. That means prefix or suffix, they cannot use these titles before or after their names. That means prefix or suffix of their names, they cannot use the Bharat Ratna as a title. Supreme Court directs in the case of Balaji Raghuvaran versus Union of India. Then another case is that Indira Jaising versus Supreme Court of India. In this case, the question is arise before the Supreme Court that the advocates, discrimination among the advocates means the senior advocate and junior advocate makes a discrimination among the advocates. In this case, Supreme Court upheld that the seniority on the basis of the qualification of their qualification based on their professional experience. Senior advocates is not titles given in the general meaning. Hence, this is not qualified under the Article 18 subclass 1 meaning of the titles. Hence, Supreme Court upheld that the senior advocate and advocate on records, that means they are not coming under the titles of the meaning of the titles under Article 18 subclass 1. Hence, Supreme Court held that the advocates can use before their name that senior advocate. as a title, but this is a not meaning, this is not coming under the meaning of the title. Then king of the Bollywood, Bollywood, god of the cricket. You can ask what are these? Okay, what are these? You can ask me the what are these? These are not the government conferring awards or titles. They cannot use these titles before their names, because these are not titles given by the government. These are titles are given by the audience. Hence these titles holds no water in the eyes of the laws. Hence these titles are no valuation under the article 18 subclass 1. These are titles given by the audience only. This is all about the article 18 subclass 1 to 4, that is abolition of the titles. This information useful to, if this information is useful to you, then circulate this video to those who person preparing for competitive exam. Then I meet you another video with article 19 in coming days. Thank you.